So, hi Kartik, thank you very much for agreeing to be part of Green Gorilla Conversations. I'm delighted to have you on board. So if you could please introduce yourself and tell us, about you. So who is Kartik?
Okay, thank you, Virginia. Thank you for the opportunity, and I'm glad you found all the interaction I've been doing useful. To give you a bit of background about myself, I'm a mechanical engineer, a building service engineer from background. Have been very keen in energy and sustainability, and so moved on to the more specialist side of the business, which is sustainability, energy modeling, carbon reduction, and BREEAM, of course.
I need to mention to whoever is listening that actually you had quite a high achievement in your personal career as a sustainability consultant, because you got the BREEAM Assessor of the Year award in 2016. Is that right?
That's correct, Virginia. We are 3 times BREEAM Company of the Year, and it's been during the time I've been the head of building sustainability at Sweco. So it was not once but thrice we won the BREEAM Company of the Year buildings. We have been fortunate to be involved with right sort of client and right sort of buildings as well. To give you some examples, we've done the headquarter office of Louis Vuitton, Havas, Universal Studios, and quite recently LinkedIn, and all of these buildings are BREEAM Outstanding buildings. And
that's quite amazing. It's really, really impressive. And I'm sure, you mentioned fortune, but I believe, there must be some, basic ingredients that you guys use, you personally use, to achieve, these outstanding levels. So can you actually share, what do you think are the magic ingredients for making a BREEAM building, the best it can be? It could be outstanding, it could be excellent.
Virginia, you'd be quite surprised. The ingredients are quite simple. We always stick to the basic. We, if I may say, we use a lot of common sense. The secret behind is understanding the project really well. We understand what the client is trying to achieve and work within the boundaries of the budget as well. We are very ambitious in terms of, we do come up with ideas of our own, but they are backed up with a lot of background work we have done. And I would suggest it's down to the fact we are qualified people. We come from very different backgrounds. Inside my team of 15 people. And we come together quite nicely. So I've got team members who've got architectural experience, life cycle costing experience, in terms of not just BREEAM, but beyond BREEAM life cycle costing experience. And it's all topped up by my experience, which is quite heavy on energy and sustainability. To give you some idea, we're working on Canada Water A1, and we have secured ourselves from BRE an applied innovation on the heating system. And the heating system has been designed by my team, which has also been doing BREEAM. So we know the systems really in and out. We are able to imagine things and get them in practice. That's what is the secret. But an underlying fact is, it's all a lot of common sense, a lot of understanding the building, and being in touch with reality.
I love that, because I've been advocating for a while now that sustainable architecture shouldn't even be called sustainable architecture. It's just common sense. It's really what makes the most sense within that space, within that location, with the client budget, and it just maximize those opportunities that you have in the job ahead, basically.
Correct.
Brilliant.
That's right.
Mentioned when you wrote an article for Building magazine not long ago, mentioning, for example, LCA. So how do you think that will impact the success of even not just the BREEAM assessment, but any sustainability project?
To start with, we are going to see a fall in the energy operational energy carbon, and this is mainly due to the fact our UK grid is decarbonizing. So the major chunk of carbon is going to be embodied carbon. The way around the success of that is suggesting to the client quite early on, also working with their aspirations and understanding the facade and the building itself, what they're trying to achieve. By conducting the LCA, you come up with suggestions which are rather subtle in the changes, still not changing the whole philosophy of what client is trying to deliver, but still achieving success in carbon. And I think we've kind of mastered this art. So if you look at the LCA, we've carried out from Bloomberg building to a very small building called Q1 at King's Cross. So the portfolio in itself starts to help us because we've done it in brass, then the client becomes more confident in doing so. And that's how it works. But I think my advice to a sustainability consultant is to take time and understand the building before you go and suggest that, because it may not be for all the buildings. It may not be, it may just go against the aspiration of the client. And also by doing so, you can give faith to the client. It's not going to change your building completely. We're not asking you to use mud and cob to build your building. It's working around what you're trying to do and identifying the subtle opportunities. And these subtle opportunities, once added on, turns into quite a lot of carbon saving in long-term future.
What can you suggest? Because that seems to be the majority of cases where you actually have to spend quite a lot of effort convincing clients and design teams of the value of sustainability. So what is your suggestion and advice in that sense to our colleagues?
Virginia, the key is to be, as I said, to understand the project really well and to advise the client in such a way that the sustainability actually produces value. I'll give you a very good example of it. This is at King's Cross, building B4, which is the headquarter office of Universal Studios. The roof garden is actually made up of native species and also an accessible roof garden. We scored tremendous amount of ecology points there by having that roof garden there and producing an ethos which can be used by the end user tenant. Otherwise, this place would have been just a brown roof. Again, the client would struggle to see a value of a large brown roof which is not accessible. So we say it's educating yourself, and finding right education on sustainability is also quite relevant and key, and which I believe something you're doing, which is very relevant, this sort of trainings. And this is, I'm telling you as it is, this is a fact at all. I'm completely against just reading the BREEAM guide out to the clients. This is where you'll find detachment between the client and BREEAM. And this is where they would start not liking BREEAM, and they would not start liking the sustainability ethos coming out of it. It's understanding BREEAM, understanding the principles of it and explaining them in a right fashion. It again comes down to the training. And I do not believe just reading the guide and regurgitating in front of clients is the way. We don't do that at all.
I mean, anyone will switch off in that sense. It happens to the best of us anyway. So
absolutely,
you know, you have to really make it alive in some ways and really show the value. Yeah,
that's correct. And
so
also,
anything that can really inspire our colleagues to love their jobs again.
Okay, Virginia, I think a lot of people miss the trick in the fact that we are in a world where we need not specialists, but ultra specialists. So what I'm trying to get at is these are people who would say sustainability BREEAM expert, but then BREEAM expert do have the opportunity to go completely into life cycle analysis. So if you're inspired by doing life cycle analysis, by all means, you go completely into it and make yourself, rather than delivering just BREEAM, making BREEAM part of it and delivering the sustainability side of it. Also, working with the aspiration of client will allow you to produce a pre-assessment which actually works for them. So it will work both ways. It'll inspire you and it'll inspire the client as well. So targeting credits which are meaningful, and you'll see credits being applied in reality, and that's where it starts to change the whole ethos of BREEAM, because sustainability is vast. We are very fortunate. We are very early stages of sustainability. The future is very, very bright. In next 20 years, sustainability will expand into its real form, what it should be. You do what you really love to do and not just doing it sake of doing it. I don't do that, nor I would advise anybody else to do it.